Welcome back to the Marching Arts Health and Wellness page. Again, my name is Zach Dangle, the athletic trainer with the Blue Stars Drum and Bugle Corps. So in this first video, I'm going to introduce one of the biggest portions of our health and wellness routine, and that is yoga. So a brief intro on the techniques that we use throughout the practice, and then I will show you the first portion of our warm-up exercise for it. So the yoga I teach is Vinyasa yoga. It's a flowing inhale and exhale with every movement type of fitness routine, and that's part of the reason it goes great with any marching arts activity. Everything we do is tied to either an inhale or an exhale, just breath in general. So basic pointers: first, you'll want a mat. It is possible to do it just on turf or grass or anything else, any rubber mat, but a yoga mat will help you the best, especially one that you can grip on, because hands and feet will slide if you're ever doing this out in the hot sun on a hot day such as band camp. So find a mat. Second thing is, before you even start, you want to find a comfortable seat. So the first thing I noticed when I first picked up yoga was most people, and this is everyone across the board, tries to sit cross-legged. And for younger kids and people who don't have any hip mobility deficiencies, that's fine. But I know for me, I'm a guy, and most guys my age and or high school and college are not very good at sitting in this position. So if your first seat is already a negative thing and something that makes you not feel ready for the rest of the practice, why do it? You can change. So you can sit cross-legged, you can sit legs straight out in front of you, a little wider, such as a straddle sit, or if you're very, very immobile in the hips, you can sit on your heels, either with your toes tucked up under or with them pointed. And if you really need to, you can sit up on a yoga block or any bolster for your seat. So now, once you find your seat, and I'll stay in this one just for demo purposes, you want to focus on your breathing. So even inhales and exhales, in and out through the nose. And you want to fill up as much as you can, and then exhale as much as you can, really working through that complete range of motion of your breath. And as you do it through in and out through the nose, you want to create a constriction in your throat. And this does not tie into brass playing. This is different. The reason we create this constriction, which will sound like a whisper or an ocean breeze, is to further slow down the inhale and exhale, further control it, which again is another tool to make you better at your show, at your playing, and just being always present in the moment. So this is called Ujjayi breath, or victorious breath in yoga. So you won't be able to hear it, but just constrict your throat, and then in and out through the nose with that. Second piece, big piece of this, is your ab control. So we'll refer to the parts of the abs I'm talking about as bandhas. First one is mula bandha, which is the muscles of your pelvic floor. And when teaching high schoolers, this might be an immature thing that they think about, but the way you engage it is just act like you're going to stop peeing. Everyone's done that in their life before, whether there was an emergency or a rush to get somewhere, or just hold it, just in general. So that first will engage pretty much the muscles all below and between your front hip points, and you should feel that pretty intensely if you've never done it. And then up from there is Uddiyana Bandha, which is your transverse abdominis, your deepest layer of well-known abdominals, often a cue in most fitness routines, which is belly button in and up. You should feel a big lift with that. And then with that, you can further take your pinky and your thumb, find your ribs and your hips, and really try and spread apart from that. So now that we have the basics set up, recall back to that wall posture, and that's the stack from hips all the way up to head that you want to find. And then that will apply as you become standing and further through positions. So now I'll move through the Sun Salutation A sequence, naming a few pointers, explanations as I go through, and just giving the general cues so you can follow along. So first thing, from your seat, exhale, roll forward into tabletop. Just hands and knees. Make sure wrists are directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. Then from here, inhale, step back to plank. Again, shoulders over wrists, straight line from head to head all the way down to heels. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. And so with downward dog, you're basically an upside down triangle. That's the goal. In all turns, you can see that. Just keep your legs more towards straight than bent, and then you're simply trying to make your hips, your butt, the top of that triangle. If you can't, that's fine. You can go ahead and bend your knees to start, or any little modification you need, but the big thing is try and get towards that upside down triangle. And so then you're in downward dog. Exhale, prepare to come forward. Inhale, walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Always alternate feet if you're walking. Exhale, forward hinge. In this forward hinge, some people call it a forward fold, but I say hinge because you want a neutral spine, a flat back, that same vertical stack alignment, just breaking at the hips. Inhale, reverse swan dive, bending your knees as you go, turning your palms out and up. Exhale, Tadasana. Now Tadasana is another home base, much like downward dog. It's mountain pose, so you want to feel strong in this position. It's very strong. Rooted all the way down to your feet and all the way up, out through the top of your head. And then from there, you start the routine of the sun salutations. Inhale, palms out, arms up. Touch at the top if you can. Exhale, swan dive forward, bending the knees again, hinging. Inhale, half lift with the upper body. You can either half lift squat or hinge with the bent knees, or more towards straight. Exhale, downward dog. And this can either be a step or a jump, either way. Inhale, forward to plank. Simply just keep your hands and feet where they are, come to plank. Exhale, bend your elbows, and this is optional. Then inhale, this is optional as well. You can either push back up, or from that bottom, inhale, come into a back bend. Hands and feet again planted. Toes can either be pointed or tucked. Then exhale, downward dog. From here, it's the same. Exhale, prepare to come forward. Again, switching feet if walking. Exhale, forward hinge. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, Tadasana. And so that is the sun salutation. You'll do that anywhere from 3 to 5 times. That's the, again, first half of the yoga warm-up. And it's just a very dynamic flowing motion. There's no position that's too strenuous, though the weight in the hands and the upper body might be pretty difficult for some people. But that's all I have for you in this segment. And in the next one, I will show you the sun salutation B's, the second part of the warm-up.